You need to try and pick off the units as... Look at the shields on the mark.
Oh my god, the drone's gonna
take this. And it's on game number 2 with ViBE. Over here in the bottom right, he had a tough game in game number 1. He was outplayed there. Frankly, he didn't deal with a bunker rush as well as he could have. I think you'd agree with me, Artosis. I mean, he definitely didn't handle it well.
Certainly.
Yeah, that's too bad, but maybe he'll do better this game. His opponent over here in the bottom left is mOoNan. mOoNan, ethnic Korean, is staying in the States, has now moved back here to Korea, as we mentioned before, with his teammates.
The GSL Team League.
And speaking of which, if you ever want to see more of Artosis and myself, go to gomtv.net and check us out. We're the lead commentators for the GSL, a show based in South Korea, basically the biggest StarCraft 2 tournament in the world. And by the way, it is such a treat to be down here doing the IPL.
You know, whenever I commentate anything, it's either a trick or a treat. In this case, Tasteless, I haven't been tricked. I willfully am commentating these games, and I am happy.
You haven't
about
been tricked?
No,
I didn't know you weren't fooled this time.
I have not been betrayed like I have just so many times before. And look at that gas first for mOoNan.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's going to mean a quicker factory here. Now, we know that much for sure. That could mean a quick Banshee. It could be a quick Hellion. There's a lot of different ways you can take this. Generally speaking, the orthodox opener for Terran is to get a barracks first. You want to get the Marines out right away and kind of tech gradually. This is becoming more and more popular here with Terrans nowadays. So ViBE should have some experience with this, but at the same time, it's pretty tough for a Zerg to identify that is a quick refinery.
Yeah, that's quite true, especially if they don't get in because of a wall-in or something like that, which very well may happen here. Now, as you said, ViBE probably has some practice with this, and I would go beyond probably. I'd say most definitely. ViBE's actually one of the biggest mass practicers on the U.S. server.
Oh, yeah.
This guy actually is playing like 10 hours a day, really devotes himself to getting better at this game. On the other hand, of course, mOoNan, he plays quite a bit as well. Was a StarCraft 1 player, in fact, a very good one. In fact, he used to practice with the Media Terrans, man. I remember Skew and myself and Idra used to play with this guy quite a bit. It was a pretty good Terran back then as well.
And that's a big difference between ViBE, who was not an established StarCraft 1 player. Not to say that he doesn't have potential. I think ViBE is very good. I did have the opportunity to play against ViBE early on during the beta. Actually, several times. He's a very smart Zerg, and I think he's one of these guys who's always rapidly improving.
Yeah, that is his MO. Tasteless. Well, we see mOoNan. He is going for those reactor Hellions. No second gas, so we should not most likely be seeing any Banshees. Of course, he is still mining gas, so it's a slight possibility. I'm just going to go ahead and say it's not going to happen, though. I think it's going to be more likely just into an expand. Maybe get 4 Hellions out there, and try to harass, try to run by, maybe kill some creep tumors, stuff like that. That's my favorite way to do it. Now, the Banshee ones are very popular right now, where you get some Banshees with it as well and try to run around and do something. And in fact, we do see a tech lab going up, so that may be just a switch into siege tanks with some Marines. Very standard, safe, solid play by mOoNan.
And that's what's so sexy about these quick Hellion builds. Is you don't know what the next thing is going to be. Is it going to be a lot more Hellions? Is it going to be a switch into, as you said, Banshees? You could switch into Marine Siege Tank. There's so many options, and it really keeps Zerg on their toes. I mean, that's the essential burden of Zerg at this point in time, is to try to understand and identify what's coming at him. And especially in this matchup, that's very hard to do.
Yeah, keeping a Zerg on its toes is quite a smart thing to do, especially the Queens, which, well, I guess they're kind of always on their toes. Always looks like they're tippy-toeing.
You know what they would look good in?
Creep.
They would look good in ballerina shoes.
They absolutely
should be doing that.
I want to see a Queen do a triple axle, but I think they're a bit too slow. I guess that's a figure.
I was going to say that's ice skating.
I'm such a nub.
Well, you know what? I would love to see the
start the
Queens
cast
on ice.
over. This is terrible.
With all 8 of their legs on the ice skating ring. You raise 2 or 3 of them off the ground. Get some points. All right, here come the Hellions now.
Ooh, good double spine crawler by ViBE.
And good placement there with that Queen at the bottom right. I don't think he's going to try to go in. Oh, it was wrong.
You were
he's
wrong.
He's going to go in here. The Queens doing a good job. He needs to get some more kills off over here.
Oh, and lining up a few drones here. He is taking out a few.
He wants to get these retreating drones.
And that spy crawler running into the main. 3 Queens just trying to go to town, but a lot of drones actually starting to go down now. Losing mining time through running away and losing drones. And ViBE is making 9 more drones right now, but I mean, what if mOoNan had made Hellions non-stop from here? He could have hit the natural right now, so ViBE is actually pretty lucky at the moment.
You know, it was interesting that Terran even tried to get in there. You know, you'd think he would poke in there and see, well, clearly he's prepared. But he did get in there. He did get a lot of kills. And it looks like this is going to end right about now.
I like, by the way, I want to point out that creep tomb we saw on the main base. That is an Artosis move right there. When I get 3 Queens tasteless, I have actually creep in every square inch of my base.
The creep should not be. It should not be a straight line.
No, it
to their base.
Don't do July Zerg creep.
No, do not do that.
Kid's sick good, I'm not going to lie, but don't do creep like that.
Somebody up there's like, don't you talk about the God of War.
Him, actually.
Actually, you did. And that's why, you know. Oh my God, hold that thought.
Awesome.
Banshees.
I love just occasionally mixing in 2 Port Banshee against Zerg. So often Zerg is not ready. You just come over with 4 Banshees. Guess what that beats? It beats 3 Queens pretty badly, Tasteless. Well, that's what it beats.
The DPS on Banshees is so high. I mean, it's something that even if you're good at unit control and reacting, you might not be able to fix it in time.
That's so true.
So here come the 2 Banshees. I think it might have been better if he waited until he had 4 to have an element of surprise.
Looks like he's not trying to win with it. I think that's the difference. If you bring 4, you're like, I want to win with this. If you bring 2, you're like, I'm going to harass nonstop and never lose a Banshee. So, snipes that first Queen, and doesn't look like we had transfusion energy, so can't really harp on him too much for that. And gets that Banshee very red, has to pull back, and with 2 Banshees at the timing, he's going to have to ask himself, is this for Cloak, or is this for 4 Banshees? Because there's no other reason to actually send 2 at once off of 2 base.
Yeah, exactly. He's going to repair the Banshee now. That Banshee is red Artosis, and it ain't blushing. It's just has been taking a lot of damage from Queen shots. So
that is quite a few SCVs repairing that.
Well, you know, he's saying to himself, I got to get this repaired so quickly because these Banshees need to be back in action, back in commission.
Yeah, man. You need them over there harassing nonstop. It costs a lot to get 2 starports with tech labs and make 4 Banshees. That's a lot of investment, and you need some ROI, Tasteless.
Yeah.
That is return on investment for those of you out there who don't read about investment.
Shame on you.
Yeah.
Get an index fund right away. All right, here's the Sport Crawler. Now, this may be a little bit too risky if it gets transfused, and it does not. I retract my comment. So now the drones are going to be taking a lot of hits.
Nice pullback by ViBE there. Ends up taking out a Queen. The 3 Queens coming back against 3 Banshees. Some 3-on-3, but it is not basketball, Tasteless. It is just a death match between Queens and Banshees, and another one goes out, and they're going to have to run away.
That was some nice control. Had that 1 Queen not actually turned around, this game would look completely different. It would have started to snowball here for the Zerg.
Exactly.
And I got to say props to him for that. However, you know, when you're staying with Banshees for this long, you are not taking as quickly. Now, also note, this Banshee harassment, as good as it's been, you can see he's destroying creep tumors.
I like that.
He is, the Zerg is getting mutas. In fact,
And
there they are. So you guys got to trust me.
And with those mutas out, Tasteless, these Banshees are going to go down. Bam, they're gone. I did like killing those creep tumors, though. Especially after killing some Queens. Going to be a little bit harder to get creep tumors out there. But that's definitely something ViBE's going to have to stay on top of. A lot of Marines being produced. Some missile turrets as well. 2 of them going up. And it looks like mOoNan is pretty well defended. But ViBE has 3 bases going on. He's in good shape as well.
Here come the Mutalisks. They're flying in there, and you know what he needs to do is do some damage of his own. And I gotta say, mOoNan has very good timing. Even though this 1 turret didn't complete, it was enough to make these Mutalisks not do the tremendous amount of damage that they could have done.
Yeah, if you don't have turrets when they get there, a lot of damage is going to be done. Now, another hatchery going up, a 4th base over at 9 o'clock. 10 drones just popped out for ViBE. He is getting +1 melee, +1 armor, and +1 muta attack, so he is really upgrading quite heavily. Now, mOoNan moving out with an interesting amount of units. We haven't seen any Banelings yet, but if he makes enough Zerglings with his mutas, should be able to take that army out.
Here comes, you know, a small drop. Now, this is a pretty big commitment to...
Oh, in range of the spine, and he does manage to take out that spine before the Siege Ink dies, but ViBE smartly micros in there with a lot of mutas, 16 mutas already. That's what happens when you don't make too many banlings tasteless.
Now, here's the problem, is when you do a push like this after doing the Banshees, we've seen this push a lot off 2 base, but not after Banshee harass. I mean, this is pretty late in the game. Zerg's taking a 4th base. If the Zerg wipes out this push, the Terran will not be able to take a 3rd base as easily.
Yeah, and it looks like on the minimap we do see it is floating over to take that 3rd behind this, but here we go, the Zergling's coming in. Does he have enough mutas to overpower these Marines? He doesn't care about the tanks right this second, just needs to kill those Marines off. Oh my god, that is a lot of mutas they have there, +1. And Taser's killing all these tanks and medevacs. I'm getting some nerd chills. A beautiful break right there, reminding me a little bit of Zenek's line and his Mutaling play. Really getting a ton of mutas out there. Awesome new age style Zerg from ViBE.
Yeah, I love it. And you know what? It's just so smart. You know, the way he's handling this. You don't need to get banelings like we see a lot of these Zergs get. You just get the Mutalisks and the Zerglings.
Yeah. And look at that, some nice harassment. When you have this many mutas, Tasteless, turrets become less and less valuable. Nice turret placement there. The little triangle of turrets.
The Triforce of
turrets. The Triforce of turrets. It looks like the mutas are going to attack the turret of courage in a minute here, Tasteless. And will it hold? Oh no.
It better not be the Bermuda turrets, otherwise they'll just disappear and they'll never come back, but it's not. And as you said, Artosis, when you have this many Mutalisks, you can just one-shot turrets. Yeah, it doesn't matter how quick SCVs can repair. You just snipe them.
Oh my god, and well, these Marines, not enough with the Zerglings and the mutas. A double stim on those Marines trying to get out of there. And it looks like ViBE just taking complete control of this game with his mutas. A lot of harassment. Even with the Marines coming up, he can finally fight with these. +2 almost done as well. mOoNan, oh my god, he's going to lose the orbital.
Oh noes! Goodbye. The orbital's out. That's how you say goodbye to an orbital, Artosis. Well, look, Terran is in a very, very problematic situation. He can't really get out of his base, even to expand. He can't get across the map, that's for sure. And that means that Zerg, at this point in time, can basically decide how to win the game, and as long as he doesn't make any mistakes, there's really no way that the Zerg can lose, I mean, to be frank.
Well, we see that the way he's choosing is an infestation pit, another expansion, and 48 Zerglings in production. Getting his 2-2 for those lings at the moment, as well as +1 carapace for the mutas. But look at this. Walking out once again, a little bit wasteful of those Zerglings by ViBE, a little bit slow to react. And we're going to... that is a lot of Zerglings.
Indeed, Artosis. What are you going to do?
Kid. Alright.
He's continuing to push forward here. This is... You know, it's just not enough. It would be scary if this was 5 or 6 minutes ago, but even if he denies the banlings, I don't know, Artosis.
Yeah, this is a lot of mutas, man. All he has to do is kill that Thor off, and then he can clump his mutas up. But look at that, banlings popping out, everything going down, and he retains most of his mutas, which these are the expensive, important units right now in this game. And I cannot see him losing from here, Tasteless. Look at this. mOoNan just keeps getting reset. He's mining from 1 base at the moment. He's just making Marines and Thors. Baneling speed on the way, more mutas on the way. There's just... ViBE has got this. He's got this.
He's got this.
He's got it, man.
Look, this is pretty bad. I think mOoNan may be aware that he's basically dead. Here's the bigger problem, is that there's I feel like basically the Zerg would have to mess up, okay? I mean, to be frank, I already sort of said this before, the Zerg can do whatever he wants, but this is bad. And you know what? Okay, ViBE's identified just how weak the Terran is. Yeah. He's going to go in here and just run over the Terran. And look, ViBE, he's really getting good at StarCraft 2. Every game I see with this guy, he's pretty scary.
Deep in tournament status, including the IPL Season 1. But
yeah,
here we are in IPL Season 2, a lot harder tournament, and he's doing quite well. Looks like he will snipe that Thor, and this is just way too much. mOoNan right now has dropped down to just 61 supply. There's 38 Banes on the way.
I was going to say, we even have Banelings being made basically in the turf of mOoNan. I guess we could see ViBE. The longer the game goes off, the better condition he's in. He deflected everything and basically put mOoNan in a corner, put him in timeout.
He is in timeout, but the Baneling's just sitting there waiting for Marines to pop out so they can two-shot him.
Like, wait a minute, I gotta die to blow stuff out? This is terrible, man. Make me back into a Zergling.
Doesn't have
It's
a taste.
permanent?
You'd have to drain the Bane Link. I don't know. That would be pretty hard to do.
Yeah.
And then he'd be like this flabby surgeon. But GG, mOoNan has lost game number 2. It's now tied up 1-1. Very impressive play by both players in each game. And now we're going to have to go on to game number 3 in just a moment.